potato.
Live from Melbourne, this is 7 Afternoon News with Rebecca Maddern.
Good afternoon. First at 4, Melbourne has emerged from 36 hours of foggy low cloud that's seen major delays at the airport and crashes involving up to 32 cars on the Western Freeway. Beth Yeoman has the latest on this. Hello, Beth. Let's start with the crash. 2 people are in hospital this afternoon.
Good afternoon, Beck. Yes, they're at the Royal Melbourne Hospital. One is listed as critical, the other serious, after multiple different crashes on the major arterial near Bacchus Marsh that left motorists stranded for hours. Locals say visibility was reduced to less than 5 metres, but many drivers did not slow down to the conditions.
We were really frustrated that people just didn't adapt their driving to the conditions.
The deterioration of the roads over the last couple of years in terms of the wet weather has not helped at all.
Now, Beth, the airport is back on schedule after significant disruptions earlier.
Beck, 28 cancellations this morning, following on from 105 yesterday, all due to the fog and difficulties with getting planes in and out of Tullamarine. Many passengers were told to wait for hours or even overnight for the next available flight.
A lot of people had to stay upstairs at departures last night on lounges. Everyone was on the ground, so yeah, a lot of upset people.
Our flight got cancelled while we were tasting to take off.
Now, this unusual weather is due to a combination of northeasterly winds, rain and humidity. It's also going to stay warm into this evening. Jane Bunn will have more details on that later in the bulletin. Back.
Beth Yeoman, thank you. V-Line services will grind to a halt tomorrow with workers set to strike during the morning peak. The state's regional train network will shut down for 4 hours, just as many Victorians head to work. Emma O'Sullivan has the details.
V-Line is advising passengers not to travel tomorrow, warning that disruptions and delays are likely to continue throughout the day after the early morning strike. The rail union's protected industrial action starts at 3 a.m. and runs until 7 a.m. Up to 1,000 staff, including customer service and signalling workers, will walk off the job. Passenger services will progressively return from 8 a.m. due to the need to move trains onto platforms, and there's a 1-800 phone line for passengers with accessibility needs. Coaches will replace trains from 4:15 a.m, but V-Line is warning those services will be limited and operate with significant delays.
We encourage all passengers to check out our website, check out our social media posts and our app for the latest details on what buses will be travelling when.
The union says the main issues in their pay dispute are centred around keeping full-time positions. They're also concerned new ticketing technology will cost jobs.
We need to adapt to technology, aligning the workforce with those changes. Our members don't simply just sell tickets, they do much more than that, and that needs to be recognised and respected.
For Geelong commuters, it's 2 days of disruption after a fatal truck crash into a train in North Shore yesterday. V-Line also says tomorrow's hot weather is likely to exacerbate delays.
The state government has inked its first suburban rail loop contract, locking Victoria into its most expensive infrastructure project yet. Experts say the project will never be completed, while the Premier refused to confirm its total cost and wouldn't reveal if the contract contained a cancellation clause.
We are not contemplating that at all. We are focused on delivering this project.
We know already that there is no money for this.
The first stage of the project is set to cost $35 billion. The accused crime kingpin behind Melbourne's firebombing attacks on tobacco stores has been unmasked. Kazem Hamad is accused of targeting other crime families despite being deported half a world away. Crime reporter Cameron Bowe has more.
A deported violent criminal has been identified as being one of Victoria's most powerful crime kingpins. Kazem Hamad has been revealed as a major underworld power player. Police suspect that he's triggered the battle for control of the black market tobacco trade. That's seen 30 properties firebombed over the past 9 months. He's also suspected of ordering the desecration of the grave of the sister of a criminal rival, the crypt of Meshlin Morogi. The late sister of notorious crime family boss George Morogi was vandalised in June. Just days later, another rival of Kazim Hamid, Mohammed Keshtiar, was fatally shot in South Yarra. Hamid is suspected of being behind that killing.
He's directing, we would say, the majority of the crime that's been the subject of why this task has been stood up. So he's directing it from the top of the pyramid. The people who are committing these offences are very much at the bottom. They're cannon fodder as far as he's concerned.
The 39-year-old was deported to his native Iraq this year. That followed him serving a jail term for drug importation. It's believed that Kazim Hamid had been operating in Dubai. His current location is unknown. The authorities now have a real dilemma on their hands. The same people who deported him from the country on character grounds will now need to decide should they want to bring him back, should he face the prospect of fresh criminal charges.
Cameron Bowe, thank you. Optus has been rocked by another outage with service cut to thousands of people overnight. The network crashed around 7 p.m, leaving customers unable to place calls for hours. Some users were further incensed when told to simply turn their phone on and off again. The telco says the issue has since been resolved. The Reserve Bank Governor is warning shoppers may one day be charged to use banknotes as the use of cash nosedives and ATMs are closed. Rob Scott has the details.
In her last speech of the year, Reserve Bank Governor Michelle Bullock warned that cash is going the way of the chequebook, with the share of cash payments plummeting from 70% in 2007 to just 13% last year. The big switch to tap and go and digital wallets accelerating during the pandemic. The collapse in the use of banknotes is putting strain on the entire payment system, with banks closing more branches and removing ATMs. Even Australia's biggest cash transporter, Armaguard, is struggling to stay afloat. Despite the fall in use, the RBA governor says cash remains an important form of payment, especially as a backup when electronic systems go down. And the bank wants to see customers given reasonable access to banknotes.
The challenge with cash is that it really does have a big community aura attached to it. If you try to charge people to use cash, they're prepared to pay to get it out of an ATM, but if businesses started charging people to use cash, I suspect there would be a very big backlash.
Acknowledging soaring interest rates and inflation have made this a particularly tough year, Ms Bullock is hopeful things will get better in 2024. That as the Albanese government prepares to release its mid-year economic update tomorrow. The headline, Labor has found another $10 billion in savings and spending reprioritisations, which it says will help to ease inflation. But the Finance Minister says don't expect any new cost of living relief.
One thing we have been really conscious of is not adding to the inflation challenges in the economy. We don't want to be making decisions that actually make the Reserve Bank's job harder.
The update will also show interest payments on debt have now overtaken the NDIS as the fastest growing pressure on the budget, costing $80 billion more over the coming decade.
The family of the legendary Shane Warne has teamed up with Cricket Australia to offer free heart checks to fans at the Boxing Day test. His children hope this will prevent others having to go through their pain of losing a loved one to heart attack. Nick McCallum is at the MCG.
I'm on the MCG, Shane Warne's famous office, and I'm with his daughter Brooke. Big announcement today, heart checks for the first 4 days of the Boxing Day test. Just how important is that?
It's so important for everyone to be getting their heart checked, and I think it's a super important thing that we get to do as a family to hopefully help a lot of people, and hopefully not as many people will have to go through as what we have gone through.
What do you think your father would think of this as a legacy?
I think he would think it's absolutely fantastic, and we've done a very good job. When Dad was here, all he wanted to do was help people. He continually went out of his way to help people. And I think for us to be able to continue on his legacy of helping people by setting up such an important test like this, that's so quick, it's 4 minutes and it's free and it's so easy for everyone to do and accessible, I think it's really special that we are able to do this for Dad.
What effect do you think it will have?
Well, hopefully it has a really positive effect, and hopefully we're able to save someone's life, even if it's only one life. That'll be incredible.
His legacy is now saving lives. Like, how cool is it going to be when people can go around and say, Shane Warne saved my life, and that's all because of a free heart test.
There's sometimes no second chance, but this test could give you a second chance.
Unfortunately, we'll never know if this test could have saved his life, but obviously we hope that it, will save someone else's life.
Every day at 3:50
Yes.
to mark his number of Australian Test player, what's going to happen?
Well, everyone at 3:50 p.m. is going to tip their hat in honour of Dad at the Boxing Day test throughout the whole test. It's going to be fantastic. This year it's going to be a whole roller coaster of emotions, but so grateful that we get to do this at the MCG, and it's going to be a very incredible moment.
It's good to talk to you. Thank you very much, Brooke Warne. A remarkable day here, always at Boxing Day, but even more so this year.
Indeed. Thank you very much, Brooke and Nick. Well, mystery surrounds the death of an e-scooter rider west of Melbourne. Details next. Also ahead, the new program tackling student violence in our classrooms, what parents need to know, how much Prince Harry will have to pay up after losing a marathon legal battle, and later our special guide on where to find Melbourne's most spectacular Christmas lights. It's a big hour of news ahead. Please stay with us.
What happens when two of the Bash's scariest speed demons collide? It's a brilliant ball! Don't blink. This is a shootout of epic proportions. Sends him packing. Sydney versus Brisbane in the Big Bash. Tonight on 7.
This summer at Macca's, value means more than ever. Like our loose change menu, which now comes with a lot more sharing. There's also more family time, thanks to the Macca's bundle range. And rewards and deals every week on the My Macca's app mean more reasons to treat yourself. Whatever it means to you, value means more at Macca's.
If you worked in noisy industries like these without ear protection, you may have workplace hearing loss. Industrial Hearing Services have helped many individuals with industrial deafness to receive thousands of dollars in compensation. Retired, still working, it may not matter. The government recognises that hearing issues have not always been fully understood and have made provisions for all individuals employed in tough industries that helped build Australia. Call the number on the screen to check your eligibility.
Owning our own home has always been our dream. It's a huge financial responsibility. All we want is to create a safe and secure future for our kids. So we did something simple to protect our family financially if the worst happened. We got real life insurance.
With real life insurance, your family could receive a cash payment up to $1 million if you are diagnosed with a terminal illness or pass away. Call 139 489 or search Real Life Insurance.
Easy on yourself.
We have revolutionised the technology. Cooling that's out of this world but won't cost the earth. The inverter cool motor saves up to 85% on energy bills. Safer air, 100% continuous fresh filtered air for everybody. Harness the power of Breeze Air and Braemar by Sealy International.
Do you ever feel like heartburn and indigestion can pull you out of the moment? Try Gaviscon Dual Action. It works fast to neutralise stomach acid and form a protective barrier that blocks acid reflux. Live in the moment with Gaviscon Dual Action.
We made a car with the world's greatest designers. An engineering masterpiece built with the most progressive technology and designed to the highest possible safety standards.
Boys. Guys.
Let's go.
Mom! Yeah, all right.
Then you made it a family car.
They're being disgusting.
They are being disgusting.
The federal government's same job, same pay law means farming will be less flexible and more expensive. And when it's more expensive for farmers, it's more expensive at the checkout. Let's find a better way.
Authorised by Tony Marr, National Farmers Federation, Canberra.
My property portfolio is protected by Terry Shear. I wouldn't trust anyone else.
As a first-time investor, Terry Shear provides the security I need.
Terry Shear, we're more comfortable about our investment property.
Landlord insurance for just $1.50 or less per day. Get a quote, call Terry Shear or go online.
3 people have died in separate crashes on Victorian roads. An elderly man was killed after he hit a tree on the Princes Highway in Oakleigh East around 7 this morning. Police are also investigating the death of a 31-year-old man in Geelong after he fell from his e-scooter around 6:30 last night. And detectives are trying to piece together how a truck got stuck at a level crossing at North Shore. A V-line train hit the rig, killing the 30-year-old truckie. A new program to teach children as young as 5 the dangers of violence has been launched by the Pat Cronin Foundation. For more on this, we are now joined by Matt Cronin, who tragically lost his 19-year-old son in a coward punch attack. Matt, really appreciate your time. I know this never gets easier for you, and this is obviously a cause that is really extremely close to your heart. Can you tell us what the program does involve and what you are hoping to achieve by this?
Yeah, sure. Look, for the last 7 years, I guess, as after Pat passed away from the coward punch, we developed a education program, particularly aimed at secondary schools. But our view is that we really need to start education as young as possible. So hence we've expanded our program, which we've rolled out nationally this year to secondary schools. We've decided to roll it out next year into primary schools as well.
OK, so you've obviously been getting really good feedback from the high schools. Can you tell us about that?
Sure, yeah. Look, I think this year alone we'll have reached something like 400 schools right across Australia. So we set out a goal to deliver presentations in every state and territory this year. 70,000 young high school students have heard Pat's story. And the feedback we're getting is amazing. You know, it is changing attitudes towards violence, and you know, who wants a world with more violence? We all want something with less violence.
Matt, we're talking primary school age. Are you talking about rolling it out in prep to 6-year-olds?
Yeah, starting as young as we can. So we've developed a program aligned to the Australian curriculum from prep all the way to through to grade 6. All based off the beautiful storybooks that we had written by a family friend, Maureen Hyland, 5 years ago, or in fact, actually, sorry, I should say 3 years ago, through COVID. That was our COVID project when we couldn't get to schools. So these storybooks just build on not a coward punch as such, but it's just acts of violence, if you like, and we've just got to put an end to it.
Yep. Less than 2 weeks ago, I think now, a Senate report recommended a behaviour curriculum be introduced in Australian schools amid a rise in student violence. Do you think your program could potentially help address this issue?
100%. You know, we're a violence prevention charity. That's our sole purpose, is to prevent violence from occurring. And what we've found is that by sharing Pat's story, we're able to get a message out to these children that they just connect with Pat. They look at Pat and, I'll say it as Pat's dad. He was our youngest of 3 children and he was a good kid. And if something like this can happen to Pat, it can absolutely happen to anyone. So the more work we do in this space to, restrict and reduce violence, the better.
Agreed. And just briefly, how can schools access the program if they're indeed interested? And I hope they all are.
Yeah, sure. Just Google searches Pat Cronin Foundation. It's patcroninfoundation.org.au. Click on the education links, and we'd love to hear from any school out there that's interested in reducing violence and just making the world a better place for everyone. I've got some great news that we had our first grandchild was born 4 weeks ago, young Riley, and I know you've got one in prep, going into prep next year. Yeah. So the storybooks spec are just amazing, and they're just heartfelt stories that kids relate to.
Yeah. All right, we'll leave it there, Matt Cronin. Really appreciate your time today. Thank you.
Thanks, Rebecca.
Firefighters are searching for possible victims after part of a 7-storey building collapsed in New York. Security video captured the moment it came crashing down with pedestrians and a school bus nearby. The cause is still unknown, but the building was the subject of several violations. Prince Harry will have to pay nearly $100,000 after losing a legal fight against a British newspaper. The Duke was unsuccessful in arguing that an article about his case to have his security reinstated was an attack on his honesty and integrity. A judge sided with the Mail on Sunday and its defence of honest opinions. Sport is coming up after the break. The AFL pre-season fixtures have just been released. We'll tell you where your team is playing. Next, also, we'll get the latest from the West as Steve Smith prepares for a summer of redemption. A new star honoured on Hollywood's Walk of Fame. And later, the surprise health benefits linked to a common weight loss drug. Today's Top Sport is next, followed by plenty more news headlines. See you soon.
These green thumbs catch the crooks red-handed.
Alec, is it broken? No. Then you can stay there till the police arrive.
Rosemary and Thyme, tonight 7:30.
This is Cheryl Long. She's an Apia customer consultant. Unlike some other insurers, Apia can offer you personalised advice, which means they take the time to understand what matters to you most. That's just one reason we're proud to have been awarded CanStar's Most Satisfied Customers 2023. Chat to Apia today and speak with a specialist like Cheryl, so you'll get cover that suits you and your budget. That's Apia value.
The Karcher Battery Spot Cleaner. 18 volts of uncompromised cordless power. Show that stain who's boss. Bring back the wow to every fibre of your fabrics.
The federal government's same job, same pay law means that subcontracting work, essential for tradies and builders, will be less flexible, making building more expensive. And when building is more expensive, housing and renting becomes more expensive. Let's find a better way.
Authorised by Danita Warren, Master Builders Australia, Canberra.
Get into Anaconda and save big this Christmas on the Fuel 10.2 metre inflatable stand-up paddleboard. Save $300. We Love Summer Adventure Beach Wagon, now $99.99. Play more and pay less this Christmas with our 10% price beat guarantee. Anaconda!
What was that?
Nothing.
Gorilla Super Glues. Try Gorilla Super Glue and Super Glue Gel for a quick and durable fix for the toughest jobs on planet Earth.
After a long day of fractions, looks like these geniuses could use a refuel. Now that's what you call a half. Bring a little cheer with Cheer Tasty Cheese.
It's Autobahn's classic Aussie Christmas sale. Kids will love this electric ride-on Toyota FJ Cruiser, now just $179. Get over $60 of value for under $30 with this Armour All Essentials kit. Autobahn.
Top Gear, low prices.
In concert, back in Melbourne by incredible demand. The world's greatest live tribute show. Direct from Las Vegas, 11th through 27th of January at the Palms at Crown, with tributes to Freddie Mercury, Shania Twain, Elton John, Adele, Cher, John Bon Jovi, and Elvis. Tickets are on sale now at ticketmaster.com.au.
Brilliant tone in red dot light. Every nice and easy shade has perfect highlights. Just 3 steps, mix, dye, dry with Claro. I'm ready to qualify. It's the hair color I want to be. Claro, it's so me.
Get the deliciousness of creme brulee, but make it iced at McCafe with a hint of caramelised sugar and smooth custard flavours topped with crunchy toffee crumb. Try the deluxe creme brulee iced coffee before it's gone.
Live from Melbourne, you are watching 7's afternoon news. 33 degrees, very humid outside right now. Jane Bunn will be here with a forecast a little later in the hour. Laura Spurway is here right now, though, with Sport. Laura, Steve Smith has a point to prove in Perth.
He certainly does, Beck. By his own lofty standards, the Aussie vice-captain had a modest Ashes series and one-day World Cup. But he's confident a big score beckons in the first test against Pakistan. Reporter Anna Hay is in Perth.
Good afternoon. Well, the countdown is on to the first test against Pakistan here in Perth, starting on Thursday. Australian Vice-Captain Steve Smith says he's feeling refreshed after a short break following their World Cup triumph in India and is ready for the next challenge.
I feel like I'm in a good place. I think the boys feel like they're in a good place and keen to get out and play some red ball cricket again. For me, it's not overthinking it, not overplaying too much, not changing too much, just going out and trusting what I do.
The match will be Smith's 103rd test. The 34-year-old says he's focused on the task at hand and he's not thinking about his future beyond this summer.
While I'm enjoying it, I'll keep playing. I'm not in any hurry to make any decisions or anything. So I'm pretty relaxed and looking forward to this summer.
Smith was quick to stay clear of Mitchell Johnson's attack on David Warner.
I mean, everyone in the media is entitled to their opinion, but I'm not buying into anything that's going on between any of those two, so I'll stay out of that one.
The Aussies held their main training session this morning at Optus Stadium. There's just 48 hours to go.
Anna Hay there, and tonight in the Big Bash, it's the Sydney Thunder and the Brisbane Heat from Monaco Oval. Coverage begins straight after the news. The AFL pre-season fixtures have been released, with some of Melbourne's big clubs getting an early taste of blockbuster footy. Collingwood and Richmond will square off on Tuesday, the 27th of February, with the Blues and Demons also at Icon Park the next day. The Cats and Bombers clash in Geelong, the Hawks and Dogs in Tassie, while the last game of practice matches is St Kilda and North Melbourne, just 4 days before the official opening round game. North Melbourne's draftee Zane Dersma is relishing the early stages of his career at Arden Street, using the pre-season trip to the Gold Coast to get to know his new teammates.
And a few of the boys you already know from draft night. How good has it been?
Getting around all the boys, it's more of a bonding camp, so it was really fun. It was really good. Steve-O has put his arm around me. Jaden Stevenson has definitely put his arm around me, showed me a few things, as has Nick Lucky, so it's been good.
Zane will face his brother Xavier when the Roos meet the Bombers in round 10. Alex de Minaur has joined Ash Barty, Sam Stozer and Dylan Alcott as multiple winners of the Newcombe Medal. The 24-year-old is in Monaco, prepping for next month's Australian Open, accepting the award via video call.
A dream of mine, and I'm glad that I was able to achieve it. But saying that, I think this is just the beginning.
Now on the cusp of the top 10, de Minaur had the best season of his career in 2023, winning in Mexico and leading Australia to the Davis Cup final. It's a big night on Saturday with the Greyhound Industries version of the Everest running at the Meadows called the Phoenix, a chance for part-time trainers to have a shot at glory.
I've got a pizza shop in Carrum Downs and that keeps me busy 7 days a week. It's something that I've been striving for 20 years, that I've been in the game for, to get a dog like Scalacci and he's arrived 20 years later.
The winner takes home $1 million, making it the world's richest greyhound race. On top of the pizza earnings, not bad.
It's not bad at all, $1 million. Thank you very much. Well, actor Zac Efron has been honoured with a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. The 36-year-old became a household name after starring in the Emmy Award-winning High School Musical franchise. He went on to star in a number of drama and comedy films. In accepting the honour, Efron said, "It's a dream come true." We are approaching 4:30. Our top stories are next, including chaos on our roads and in the air as Melbourne emerges from 36 hours of thick fog. Victoria locked into the most expensive infrastructure deal in the state's history. TV program The Project in the spotlight in the Bruce Lehrmann defamation trial. And we'll have a sneak peek at Melbourne's best and brightest Christmas light displays. We are watching 7's afternoon news. We're back very shortly.
Julio bought cheap car insurance with cheap accident repair. Don't risk bargain regret. Next time join the A-Team, hey Julio.
You can now fly for fuel velocity points across Australia. So Lou here got to her holiday surprisingly fast. She seems okay with it though.
The Audi Q8 e-tron. That's progress you can feel.
shut up and take my money.
The ultimate Christmas present for you and your family. Draw 411 is your chance to win an entire $12.6 million beachfront apartment complex on the Gold Coast. Hurry, there's only days left. Tickets are just $10. Search RSL Art Union today.
Santa Claus.
Live from Melbourne, this is 7 Afternoon News with Rebecca Maddern.
Good afternoon. Returning to our top story, and low-lying summer fog has caused 36 hours of chaos on our roads and in the air. More than 30 cars were involved in this horror pile-up on the Western Freeway near Bacchus Marsh. One person remains in hospital with critical conditions, while another is in a serious condition. The freeway reopened this morning at a reduced speed limit, while the airport continued to face delays. Another 28 flights were cancelled this morning, following 108 cancellations yesterday. The Allen government has forged ahead with the suburban rail loop, signing contracts to begin work on the multi-billion-dollar project. But the Premier has dodged questions about exactly how much it will cost taxpayers. State political reporter Chanel Vella has more.
Well, the contract has been signed, locking the state into the first part of the suburban rail loop at a cost of $35 billion. But as for how much the entire project will cost taxpayers, the Premier wouldn't say.
We have focused on getting on and delivering this section of the project, and this section of the project will guide the investment that is required on future stages.
This is the danger of this project. The government's leaping into the dark. It knows that it doesn't stack up now, but it's still going ahead. And this is a major worry that governments could make such an irrational decision on such a monumental project as this.
The signing of the contract comes after months of experts calling for it to be paused or scrapped.
I don't think we know enough about it. We still don't have disaggregated numbers for suburban rail loop east compared to north. What are the costs? What are the benefits?
This is a project that no one has backed. Whether it be infrastructure experts, various parliamentary independent bodies, they've all said this project lacks detail, it lacks substance, and it lacks to see what the benefit is to Victoria.
This first section of the suburban rail loop won't be complete until 2030, meaning whether or not the other sections are built will be up to other governments to prioritise.
The entire V-Line train network will be shut down during the morning peak tomorrow, with workers set to strike from 3 to 7 a.m. over an ongoing pay dispute.
Our members don't simply just sell tickets, they do much more than that, and that needs to be recognised and respected.
V-Line says replacement coaches will be limited and operate with significant delays. The TV producer responsible for Channel 10's The Project interview with Brittany Higgins has testified at the Bruce Lehrmann defamation trial. He's been questioned about a photo of a bruise on Miss Higgins' leg. Paul Caddack is covering the case.
Good afternoon. This trial has zeroed in on the lead-up to Brittany Higgins' television interview, what she told Network 10 staffers and what they did before the broadcast. Producer for The Project, Angus Llewellyn, questioned over the photo of a bruise Brittany Higgins gave them, saying it was caused by her alleged sexual assault in 2019 and taken days afterwards. But the timestamp showed it was a screenshot taken the morning they met in 2021. Did you ask to see the original? I presume that was the original. Did you ask to check the metadata? No, saying he had no reason to believe it wasn't anything other than what Higgins had told them it was. You knew the one piece of physical evidence supplied to you could not be verified, which is why we had a statutory declaration, saying they only used the photograph once Higgins signed that declaration. The photo did not make or break the story. Lehrmann's lawyers suggesting you failed in your obligation to check the credibility of the source and her evidence in respect to this photograph. I would disagree with that. He also denied it was unreasonable to put it to air. Brittany Higgins speculating her phone may have been remote wiped by the government, deleting messages and photos, Lehrmann's lawyer suggested was, quote, nonsensical. Llewellyn says he didn't take it seriously. His view was the story should avoid the issue because it raised unanswerable questions. Other evidence shows Lisa Lisa Wilkinson had queried why, if Higgins says screenshots had been wiped from her phone, the bruise photo was still there. Bruce Lerriman is suing Network 10 and Lisa Wilkinson over the project broadcast. The trial continues.
The building industry is hitting out at the federal government for its decision to slash the number of migrants who can come to Australia. Construction bosses say they're desperate for skilled labourers. Here's Chief Reporter Chris Reason.
Good afternoon. Well, the federal government's decision yesterday was welcomed by both business and unions, but today slammed by the construction industry, which claims it will only fuel Australia's housing crisis. The major overhaul of immigration rules will see student migrant numbers slashed in the attempt to halve last year's record immigration inflow of 500,000. It will instead see the fast-tracking of skilled workers earning more than $135,000 a year in industries like cyber and tech. But those in construction have missed out, and the industry is gobsmacked. We spoke with major Sydney developer Bill Berger today, now working on their 14th building in Rhodes, more than 2,000 apartments, but revealing they're desperate for skilled labour, saying the shortage is slowing development and pushing house prices higher.
We need more skilled labour as soon as we can get them. We've got the housing crisis now. We can't wait 3 years to get the labour.
People around the country are living it day in, day out because they can't get a home, they can't get maintenance done.
Home Affairs Minister Claire O'Neill said yesterday it was up to the industry to prove there is a skills shortage. Today, Infrastructure Australia released a report showing a shortfall of 229,000 workers in their sector, the vast bulk of them tradies. The Master Builders Association says it's twice that. Industry experts saying the policy will even jeopardise the federal government's own target of building 1.2 million more homes in the next 5 years, saying under this new rule that will simply not be possible. Back to you.
Thank you, Chris Reason. Queensland has found its new Premier in current Deputy Stephen Miles. Miles has a clear path to victory in a caucus vote after Health Minister Shannon Fentiman withdrew from the race.
The government I lead will be absolutely focused on the task of helping Queenslanders every single day in every way we possibly can.
Anastasia Palaszczuk announced her retirement on Sunday, saying it was time to move on. Christmas excitement is building with spectacular lights displays in the suburbs and plenty of free family-friendly activities in the city. Jane Bunn caught up with Lord Mayor Sally Capp for this special holiday guide.
Well, on this humid afternoon in the city, lots of people out and about enjoying the Christmas festivities. And with me this afternoon is Lord Mayor Sally Capp. Sally, it sounds like, thanks for joining, it sounds like you're hosting lots of amazing activities perfect for families.
Jane, we really are. Hundreds of thousands of people making the most of Christmas festivities here in the city. We've got some new features. The laser and light show on the Yarra River has been incredibly popular. Santa's in a new spot in Howie Place and the queues are long but moving quickly, so come on down. Lovely features like our singing reindeer, the Christmas festival's underway on Birrarungma, and there's Christmas roller skating in Argyle Square, Carlton. But look, the great news is most of our Christmas festival is free or very affordable, and I think for families at the moment, that's a really important feature.
After dark, Melbourne really comes alive when all the lights come on. We've seen some great things here in the city and in the suburbs. What have you seen?
Well, the gaudier and the gargantuan, the better, and it's really happening in the eastern suburbs. They are doing a super job and the competition is fierce for the best Christmas lights around town. And I love going to see the trouble that people go to really get into the festive spirit.
2 weeks to Christmas, have we got extended training hours yet?
We do. It's Christmas trading. People can come in and go crazy. Come down our laneways, enjoy the festivities and literally all of your Christmas shopping desires. Whether you're buying for family and friends or for yourself, Jane, as I often do, it's fantastic to do Christmas shopping in the city.
Oh, well, thank you very much, Lord Mayor. That's great. Now, if you like warm weather, tonight is the night to be out and about in the city. We are staying warm all the way through to tomorrow afternoon. I'll have the full details shortly.
See you then. Jane, thank you. Still to come, a soccer hooligan dubbed the Bucket Man stares down a new legal fight. Also, Queensland on high alert as the Sunshine State braces for Cyclone Jasper, and Golden Globe nods for a trio of Australian stars. We'll be back in just a couple of minutes. Stay with us.
Will you marry me first?
Yes.
You're invited.
Look who's getting married.
To the wedding event of the decade.
I'm the luckiest guy in the world, aren't I? Yes. You're supposed to say I'm lucky too.
When is the wedding? I don't know yet.
I feel like Paris needs a little pushing sometimes.
This is like my wedding too.
I have no guest list, no venue, but at least I'm gonna look good.
The new series,
Kiss the Bride.
Paris in Love. Tonight, 8:30 on 7 Bravo and 7 Plus.
This week, Oz Lotto is bringing the big Aussie fun.
50 million!
With a $50 million jackpot. Dive in this Tuesday for a shot at $50 million.
Getting up to 80% of your eligible vet bills reimbursed with no excess to pay is all part of the RSPCA pet insurance feeling. Right, Bear? You can claim up to $20,000 a year, choose from 4 levels of cover, and you're helping support the amazing work of the RSPCA. Plus, buy now and you'll get 1 month free. Choose Australia's most trusted pet insurance today. Call 138 548, scan or search RSPCA Pet Insurance.
How? Velocity frequent flyer points.
That was fast.
Earn points and get to rewards fast. Velocity means fast.
At Shell Coles Express, you can save 8 cents per litre on fuel. Just bring in your valid Coles 4 cents shopper docket and Shell Coles Express will double the discount to 8 cents per litre. Available at Shell Coles Express.
This, Chrissy, make your merry meaningful.
With free same-day click and collect on orders placed before 12 noon. Or give them the gift of choice with a Maya gift card. Exclusions and conditions apply.
G'day, Pete.
You're full of beans.
Yeah, we're walking.
My legs are aching.
I have the same problem. You need Revitive.
It's the circulation booster that gets my leg muscles pumping.
Which relieves aches and pains, swelling and cramps.
Plus, it's drug-free.
Feeling better?
Oh, morning, Deb.
It's true. Someone got Revitive. Get Revitive today. It just might change your life.
Get the perfect gift with Revitive.
Christmas on Bill's farm wasn't feeling very Christmassy. So he bought a Bluetooth speaker from Amazon. And now...
Mamacita.
that llama is part dancer, part prancer.
Just let it all out to find the feeling.
A soccer hooligan jailed for hurling a bucket of sand at a Melbourne City goalkeeper is appealing his prison sentence. Bucket man Alex Angelopoulos was jailed for 3 months for his role in the violent A-League pitch invasion. The 23-year-old's barrister argued it was unfair his client had become the face of the incident, given no one else was behind bars. He'll learn his fate on Friday. Northern Queensland is locked in an anxious wait as tropical cyclone Jasper carves a path towards Cairns and Port Douglas. Meteorologists think the system will re-intensify tonight, with thousands warned they may need to evacuate. Joel Dry has more.
Well, this is the community of Machin's Beach, just to the north of Cairns, and it is one of a number of centres that Council has deemed to be in the red zone under threat from storm surge. Some 35,000 residents have now been told to prepare to evacuate to a number of evacuation centres that have been set up. It has to be said, though, a great majority of the people in those red zones are preparing to stay. They say they feel comfortable with the situation. They've been sandbagging, boarding up their homes. They have supplies and are looking likely to just ride it out.
I've been here for many, many years, and you just don't treat it as anything but serious and being prepared.
Cyclone Jasper is currently a Category 1, still expected to build to a Category 2 when it makes landfall sometime tomorrow morning. It will have some severe impacts. The airport is scheduled to close from tonight at 7:45 is the last flight out. People being told do not come to the airport tomorrow. Services won't resume until Thursday. The other big issue is, of course, the rain that is likely to come. There are some centres that may receive as much as half a metre of rain in a 24-hour period. That brings with it the threat of flash flooding.
It could mean inundation for large areas, particularly the low-lying areas of Cairns. Don't drive through flooded waters. You do not know what the road conditions are like under that road.
The track map of Cyclone Jasper now has it crossing the coast north of Port Douglas, but the warning zone is a vast stretch of coastline. Winds expected to reach well over 100 kilometres an hour. We think we'll start to feel the first impacts from later this evening.
A firefighter has been killed in the line of duty. The 51-year-old was reportedly crushed under a falling beam while battling a blaze at a luxury Airbnb.
It's just awful, and it just goes to show how dangerous firefighting is, whether it's fighting a house fire or fighting a bushfire. It's incredibly dangerous.
The cause of the fire is not yet known. 3 Australians are all in the running for the Golden Globes as 2 of the biggest films of the year get set to go head-to-head once again. Here's US Bureau Chief David Woywood.
The big screen battle between Barbie and Oppenheimer has officially spilled into awards season, with each film snagging nominations in 7 categories.
I don't have anything big planned, just a giant blowout party with all the Barbies.
Including, of course, our very own Margot Robbie as Barbie. She's up for Best Actress in a musical or comedy. The former Neighbours star also produced the film, which all up received 9 nods and has now grossed more than $2 billion at the box office.
This is the real world. What's going on? Why are these men looking at me?
Yeah, they're also staring at me.
Sarah Snook has been recognised for her role as the scheming Shiv Roy in the hugely popular Succession.
Hello. You're gonna be okay. And I'm sorry, is he dead?
The series also one of the top nominated productions across the board, with 3 of Snook's co-stars battling it out for Best Actor in a drama.
There's no part of you that could just be like, hey, let's reschedule and move this because, you know, their dad just died.
Australia's Elizabeth Debicki took out 1 of the Crown's 4 nominations for her acclaimed portrayal of Princess Diana, a series that's recently courted controversy for its blurring of fact and fiction in the British royal family. The nominations mark a return for the Golden Globes after a writers' strike and a representation scandal in the Hollywood Foreign Press Association forced the cancellation of the awards in 2022. But they're back and it's Australians leading the charge.
Doctors have discovered surprise new health benefits of a common weight loss injection. Next, why they're heralding the medication a wonder drug. And Jane Bunn will join us live from Federation Square for a special web forecast.
This is not just any team. No, they're more than that. This is the greatest test team of our generation. This one's big. It's our last chance to see them. The last time they play together is here on home soil. When will we ever see the likes of this again? This summer, do whatever it takes. You gotta watch it. Because this is not just their story, it's ours. Let's do it.
Australia versus Pakistan. The first test starts Thursday, live and free on 7.
The McRib is back. Chicken Big Mac is back. And the new McRib Deluxe has just arrived. Macca's summer menu. It's the summer we've all been craving.
Following their surprising success, Steamhunk are planning a multi-city world tour, playing 5 cities in 9 days. Manager Rodney has to book all the flights.
The budget's tighter than priceless leather pads.
So he's using Webjet, which compares flight combinations from hundreds of airlines worldwide, filtered by the cheapest, fastest and best results.
Sorted!
Do they have soy milk in Japan?
Easily book a multi-city trip yourself at Webjet.
A drive that's on an entirely new level, so you can get more out of every moment. All hybrid Mazda CX-60.
Elevate your world.
We have revolutionised the technology. Cooling that's out of this world but won't cost the Earth. With Super Stealth Fan, 5 times more efficient than reverse cycle. Australian designed, made and owned. Harness the power of evaporative air conditioning. Breeze Air and Braemar by Sealy International.
Legends in concert. Back in Melbourne by incredible demand. The world's greatest live tribute show. Direct from Las Vegas, 11th through 27th of January at the Palms at Crown. With tributes to Freddie Mercury, Shania Twain, Elton John, Adele, Cher, John Bon Jovi, and Elvis. Tickets on sale now at ticketmaster.com.au.
It's the AusPost app. You can track deliveries and get updates when they're on the way. All listed here.
It's not doing anything for me.
I think it's your gloves.
Australia Post, delivering Christmas for Australia.
It's the world's #1 game.
I know how to win.
With the brightest brains.
Think you can take me on? Come on.
There can only be one best ever.
Play along and see if you can beat the best. The Chase. Weekdays at 5.
A common diabetes medication is being heralded as a wonder drug. Researchers have discovered Ozempic, which shot to popularity due to its weight loss properties, also protects the heart and kidney. Jade Vincent explains.
Melbourne researchers have discovered diabetes drugs like Ozempic and Trulicity, typically used to lower blood sugar levels and promote weight loss, have added superpowers and could prevent patients from suffering some of the most life-threatening complications of the disease.
Particularly, we noticed that there was a reduction in heart disease and also a reduction in the leaking of protein, which is a feature of kidney disease.
Kidney disease occurs in up to 40% of people with diabetes. During this decade-long study, the team at Monash University uncovered how these drugs reduce inflammation in the body, revealing they could extend their use beyond diabetes and obesity, but they have the potential to treat other forms of kidney disease, while also aiding the prevention of cardiovascular events.
It means that if they're using these GLP-1 receptor analogues, they might find that this is protective for the kidney and the heart long term.
Now that scientists have identified that these drugs reduce inflammation in the kidneys and the blood, they need to determine exactly how and why this happens so they can create new and more powerful drugs.
Let's take a look at Melbourne's roads right now.
Thank you, Beck. It's a busy run on the Tullamarine Freeway. We just had a look at a collision outbound in the Maddern traffic chopper. This one's happened at Buller Road. The left-hand lane closed off. Towie's on scene, but very heavy now back to Brunswick Road. Need your pet's favourites pronto? Pet Barn has you covered with 2-hour delivery guaranteed. That should keep them happy. Order all your pet's favourites at petbarn.com.au today. T's and C's apply. More traffic tomorrow. I'm Tamara Eden. We'll see you then.
Thank you, Tamara. Jane Bunn joins us now, live from Federation Square. Hello, Jane. There's lots of Christmas spirit on this hot afternoon. Looks great out there.
Oh, thank you, Beck. The heat and high humidity isn't really deterring many from enjoying the city this afternoon. Now, last night it was warm, a low of 18, but wait for tonight, it'll be up near 30 for much of it. We have peaked at 33 so far in the city. And it's not just the heat, but the humidity that really has an impact. The air has so much tropical moisture and the wind is so light that it feels even hotter than it is. So the low 30s are feeling like the high 30s. However, some spots near the bay are a bit cooler. Point Cook is certainly the spot to be if you hate the heat. The murky, foggy low cloud persisted over southern parts of the state into the morning, but that has cleared and there's higher cloud coming down from the northwest. This lets lots of sunshine through and brings the heat. Now, it has climbed over 40 degrees in the northwest and parts of the Wimmera today too, but at least the humidity isn't as powerful over in the far west of the state. We have a jelly bean-shaped high that picks up tropical air from off the Queensland coast and drags it right down here to Victoria. That makes it hot and humid. That is feeding into a cut-off low that is off South Australia, And we're looking at that low coming in off South Australia, where we have that moving. So that will be crossing us tomorrow, a trough associated with that. So we'll get hit and miss heavy thunderstorms rather than widespread heavy rain. Meanwhile, Cyclone Jasper, that is crossing the far north Queensland coast, that's north of Port Douglas tomorrow. The trough will take us from the heat of today to milder weather by Thursday and cooler conditions to follow to end the week. The heat won't last. Around the nation tomorrow, the cyclone does cross near Cairns. Brisbane and Sydney are warm and dry. Canberra and Hobart both have the risk of storms with that trough. Just the odd shower for Adelaide tomorrow. Perth is looking lovely. To Victoria, warm to hot and humid ahead of a cooler change extending across the west with the trough. Out ahead, we have hit and miss showers and storms. The storms may be severe. So in Melbourne, hot overnight, finally down to 23. Hot tomorrow, still humid too, a top of 33 degrees. Now there's the odd shower in the morning, then the afternoon and evening bring the risk of showers and severe thunderstorms. Beck.
Very much, Jane. Well, coming up in 7 News at 6, the 11th hour fight to stop childcare centres closing across Melbourne's southeast. We'll have live details. How families can cash in on a new power-saving incentive, strengthening Victoria's firefighting capabilities ahead of the bushfire season, and the postie under fire for lashing out and throwing delivery boxes. That's coming up all ahead, straight after the chase tonight at 6 o'clock. And that's all from Melbourne's afternoon news. Thank you very much for joining us. I'll be back alongside Mike Amor for this evening's bulletin. I'll see you then.
Stream 7 News anytime, live and on demand on 7plus. And with 7news.com.au, you'll know the news now.
I've always wanted to do music. My mum used to be an amateur